Okay, so this week we read Charlotte's Web. It's one of my all-time favorites growing up as a kid, just because it's a really good book. And then later on, watching the movies, um, the movie about it was great. Um, at first, in the beginning, Wilbur, he was a runt. They were gonna kill him, but the little girl begged and pleaded with her dad, please save him. Why are you gonna kill him? And she ended up taking care of him and selling him to her uncle. So when he first came to the farm at her uncle's house, he was excited. He wanted to look around. He wanted to meet, the other animals and become friends with them. And so everybody seen him kind of as, wild, rambunctious, because he was just really excited, So they didn't take to him very well. I kind of thought he was maybe like more of annoying. But he was still young and, and that's how they are. They're playful. So when he heard a voice talking to him, although he couldn't hear the voice or see, where the voice came from or who was talking to him, he was excited because somebody was actually talking to him. Charlotte, which was the spider that was hiding in the top of the corner, eventually became his best friend. That's somebody that he was always with and always talked to. Then there was a rumor about, once they fattened up Wilbur towards Christmas time, that they were going to slaughter him. And so Charlotte, being his best friend, wanted to save him. So she came up with a way to trick the humans into potentially or hopefully saving Wilbur. So she spun a message into the web, and that said "some pig," and so everybody kind of gathered around it and was like, "Oh, okay, you got a special pig," even though it was the spider web that was different and I wouldn't say alarming, but just something that I would think maybe the spider was special, not the pig. And I think that the message that Charlotte is, can be more on like idolized things that we take away from. Like, for example, going to a concert because everybody's talking about that concert, or, idolizing this person when you could just go and be with your family at home. And that's, more something that you can cherish and have a memory of, not just this one time I went to a concert. She always put everybody else in front of her own needs and wants, just like, like she was selfless and caring about Wilbur, and she always wanted to protect him or make him feel comfortable. Charlotte thought, the humans were stupid, and so that's why she created the message in the web, and, to make them fall for it. Wilbur wasn't a special pig. He was just trying to, learn how to live on the farm. Lurvy was one of the people. I think he was the first one actually to see the message, and he ran back and told Mr. Zuckerman about it, which was her uncle that took in the pig. And so when he came in, he couldn't believe it. He was, he was so shocked, and he was just like, "Oh, some pig, huh?" So then, he thought the pig was special, and basically just told the whole town about it. He wanted everybody to see this pig, and, he gave Wilbur nicer things, I guess, a nicer place to rest at or play, better food, more food, because they fatten him up more because they gave him a fourth meal. And then, his wife, Mrs. Zuckerman, was more for, Charlotte being the special one, not Wilbur. And then let me see, Avery, which was the little girl that gave the pig to her uncle. She's kind of taken aback when she sees the web. And, Avery is the brother of the little girl. And, he tries to knock the web out of the corner. And so when he does that, he causes the rotten egg to break. That came from the little rat that hit it. And so it cracked and it stank up the place. And I think the attention is on Wilbur because the messages were about him. And I would listen more for a pig I would listen for a pig story more than for a spider story. I don't like spiders, so that's not something I'd be interested in. And pigs are cute. I kind of want a little micro pig. It'd be kind of fun. So Charlotte's Web and the Nim has the same kind of storyline. They both have like a savior, somebody that saves, and then also somebody that's like helping others make it out at the end. Like with Charlotte trying to care for Wilbur and make sure that he doesn't get slaughtered, and does everything in her power to try to help save him. I think also, the time shifts in the Charlotte's Web fast, and it's because it's showing, the day-to-day life on the farm and how fast, the things can change with it. And I think with David Pilkey, the Captain Underpants, it's a silly character, and his series is loved by children a lot because, kids like to laugh. They like to have fun. And so, that's something that kids can relate to. And books, some parents, they don't agree with things. You're going to have parents that don't agree with a lot of things. And they say that, they don't like the sense of nudity or, sexual tones to that series. But I don't see it as, that offensive or anything like that. It's harmless, The many of the kids that are exposed to those things, as a parent, you want to protect them from it, but the kids don't perceive the information how the book explains it unless the kids told, this is what it is. Kids aren't going to come up with things like that on their own. Obviously, it's something they have to be, shown or told about. So it's a good book for this targeted age. I don't see, anything that is wrong with the books. I like them. I think they're funny, and, parents can make that decision for their kid. That's just, their choice. And the book that I chose to read and do my essay on is Bridge to Terabithia. I love the book. I love the movie. I don't agree with the censorship on it. Maybe if anything, it would just be move the targeted age a little higher, maybe a couple years. But other than that, I don't see anything wrong with the book.